ABIOTIC Factors 1.0 and Xbox and PlayStation release date is finally here. I've been hyping this up over the last 6 weeks or so. I covered it when it first came out in early access, did a few guides, and then I basically never revisited it again. So it's been really good fun. I've sunk about 70-75 hours into my latest fresh run, and I've pretty much got up to speed nearly with all the content. And there's a ton of content in this game. So many crazy things going on. What is it? It's basically a sci-fi survival crafting game with a lot of humour, lots of dark, scary vibes considering the art style, and heavily inspired by 90s games, as well as stuff like Half-Life. It's got weird dimensions that you'll travel to take on enemies as you try and escape a scientific facility that's been overrun by all sorts of crazy interdimensional creatures and more. If you missed this, it's a 1 to 6 player co-op game. Of course you can play on your own, and it's coming to Xbox Gamepass as well as the PlayStation Plus catalogue on the 22nd of July. Pretty unusual to see a game like this being offered pretty much with both subscriptions, and of course the 1.0 release is going to be launching at the same time, so it's great to see that everyone's going to get a chance to play it all together. Literally, go and check out some of my live streams. I started off actually on my second channel, JPG Crafted, but I switched over the content to here because it felt like you guys were maybe going to appreciate it a bit more. And it's a great game. It's honestly got its hooks into me. Like I said, I've spent a ton of hours into it. There's so many different armor sets and weapons that you can utilize. And 1.0 is going to offer the chance to upgrade them, so you don't really have to leave behind something cool just because it doesn't do as much damage. Steam page got a few more details saying it's also going to be on sale on Steam. And it has had its 1.0 price increase, I do believe, already. So it's $29.99. I can't imagine it'll be too much more on Xbox and PlayStation if you want to buy it. Probably like £35, maybe $40. You can go and wishlist it right now on PlayStation, but it doesn't show the actual price. And you can see the stuff. You can play it without needing an online subscription. It's only if you're going to be joining your friends. And likewise with Xbox, although I couldn't find a page to go ahead and wishlist it there. And honestly, it's a great game. Absolutely loving seeing all the content added to it. I simply was just really busy with a lot of other stuff, and I knew that each update was packed with content that I maybe wouldn't have enough time to get through. So being able to revisit it in a big chunk, live streaming it pretty much my whole run, really start to flesh out and see all the content they've added. Of course, they're going to be adding a lot more to it as well. They've got the final big zone that's coming to the game as well, and they've got plans to support it beyond 1.0. It's sold really well on Steam, so this is a game that's going to carry on getting support. And if you're someone that doesn't like necessarily hardcore survival games, they've got a bunch of different options where you can customize it and make it a bit easier or even more challenging. They might have dedicated servers, I'm pretty sure they do on PC. And I do believe they're going to have full cross-platform play, so that should mean that if you rent a PC server or host it yourself, your console friends should be able to join. ABIOTIC Factor can be really silly. You have to go a poo quite frequently sometimes, and there's lots of different perks and stuff that you can choose to flesh out your character at the beginning of the game, giving you access to definitely some really good stuff, but also some negatives if you go a little bit too mad on some bonuses. Things like having to go to the toilet more frequently, getting thirsty or hungry more quicker. It's honestly got a really fun side. That said, it's also got a bit of a scare vibe. I'm not big on horror games, but at times I've actually felt pretty anxious going through certain places, dank dark corridors, mysterious dimensions filled with darkness and creatures that jump out and scare you. There's a wide variety of creatures and enemies you'll face. Lots of kind of soldier boys that become more advanced as you progress, with different factions fighting each other as you unravel the story. Big focus on melee. Yes, the combat looks a little bit janky, but that's part of its big charm. And it's got a ton of guns in it, although they're not often the best thing to use, instead going for more of the kind of projectile weapons that you can make yourself. As you progress doing stuff, you level up, so the more you shoot, the better your accuracy gets, the more you cook, the better buffs you get from your food. So it's got some really deep systems in it as well. I play with controller exclusively for most games. There is a little bit of frustration sometimes with some of the shortcuts that I've played on PC, so I'm hoping they're going to be ironed out on Xbox and PlayStation. But honestly, if you're looking for something juicy to really put your time into, you can't go no wrong than ABIOTIC Factor, especially playing it with friends. There's not strictly as much base building, it's more about just laying out a encampment, but you can kind of make lots of defensive barriers and walls around. I've definitely seen some really creative people almost make little houses and homes. A big new feature with 1.0 is they're going to be adding the ability to have like a more flat, peaceful place. It's basically based on like sakura blossoms, like Japanese architecture, and a nice pink, peaceful land. And these are being called home zones, I do believe. And effectively, it just means that you can have something a little bit more tranquil than building your base anywhere else in the facility. Like literally, you can build your base anywhere. You can even build your base in some of the pocket dimensions that you have to explore. You do get periodic raids, but there's ways to counter them, or you can even turn them off in the settings. And even with these brand new home zones, you will still have that element happening, just to make sure it stays a bit interesting and it's not too cheesy. Honestly, this game's great. I'm in a real pickle now though, because Grounded 2 is releasing a week later. So I'm praying I can get early access to ABIOTIC Factor, because I really want to finish off the last part of the story and give a complete full breakdown review of 1.0. I have got also big plans to do lots of gameplay guides with all the footage that I've recorded, and it seems like a lot of stuff won't necessarily change, but they're definitely adding some cool stuff. Like I said, upgrading guns and gear. At the moment, a lot of gear becomes superfluous as you just progress and unlock new stuff. But it does look like there's going to be ways to improve a lot of your weapons. I absolutely think this game's great. Obviously, I get that spoiler out of the way. I can't see them messing it up with the 1.0 update. They've taken on board a load of feedback, and it's made by a little tiny studio out of New Zealand. And they've been pretty much bang on time with their updates. Like small little delays here and there, but they had a big roadmap. They've kind of stuck to it. They've added and iterated more content during early access. The music's pretty banging as well. And honestly, you'll be lost for hours working out what materials you're going to need to go and get to go ahead and craft this new weapon or new tool. At one point, it did feel like it was starting to drain me a little bit, because it was just like another new area, a huge new place, a brand new slew of new weapons and gear, with tons of resources that I just wasn't able to find. But I have played it a little bit with one of my rat bags, shout out to Chicky. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it with maybe more of us as well, just having a bit more fun in the future, as it will definitely help with the grind if you're solo. So definitely change maybe up some of the customization options so that you can do things a bit quicker and easier. But even then, if you're looking for a challenging survival game, one that doesn't necessarily hold your hand all the time, it's got a huge amount of exposition, and sometimes it bogs things down a little bit. You kind of lose track of who you're talking about with certain different aliens and interdimensional beings. And you've really got to take the time to go ahead and explore areas so you can work out quick shortcuts back to previous ones or back to your home base. Honestly, in the last few years, I don't think there's anything been quite as unique in the survival space as ABIOTIC Factor. Deep crafting, deep exploration, a ton of content, lots and lots of combat, lots and lots of different enemies, maybe a bit of an over-reliance on soup, but lots of humour, and yeah, I recommend you go and check it out. If you're on PC, take advantage of a 20% discount that's being applied very soon on sale. And Xbox and PlayStation survival fans, yep, absolutely get it on Gamepass or PlayStation Plus catalogue, or simply go and buy it. I think it'll be worth your time, and as I said, they do seem to be supporting it for a while afterwards. Oh yeah, and it's got a bunch of vehicles that you can use as well, but I generally just run around. So expect to see my final streams doing the last few bits that I've got to do from its early access content, and start looking out for guides and gameplay from me, and hopefully a real good review of 1.0. I'll see you rat bags for more soon.